All right, so I'm Dr. McManus, and this semester I was an intern for UNC grounds at Battle Grove Stream Restoration. So if you've ever been up near McIver, sort of going up towards Franklin Street, and you've seen this sort of grove of trees and ponds, all surrounded by a big, manageable stone wall, that's Battle Grove. It used to be this plain field that wasn't much good for anything and flooded all the time because there was a pipe running under it that people didn't build very well. But a couple years ago, the UNC grounds department came in and decided to build a regenerative stormwater conveyance. That's a series of small pools all in a line that, when it rains, they help slow down the flow of water so that it can seep into the groundwater. And also it provides a beautiful, wonderful ecosystem for a lot of native species of plants and animals to grow and live and thrive. So the main purposes of it are to improve the health of the stream, of Battle Stream, and prevent flooding in the watershed, and to improve the native biodiversity. And that last bit means that they also hold a lot of events there and encourage people to come out to the site for outdoor classrooms and such. I went there for BioBlitz last semester, and that's where I met my boss, Geneva Green. As we were working, she said, "Oh, man, I love Battle Grove, but I wish we had some way to advertise it to the rest of the campus and the community, some sort of website or something." And I said, "Hey, I'm in a class right now for responsive web design." And thus I was gainfully employed. The roles and responsibilities that Geneva and I laid out for my job were threefold. The first was to do on-site grunt work each week, sort of assisting in the general maintenance and upkeep of the site. This was mostly weeding, but also fun stuff like species identification and helping out to draw a circle. The bulk of everything would be the at-home web development and design, making the website and everything that needed to go into it. The purpose was to mostly both advertise the site, what you can do there, and what affiliated organizations existed, as well as providing a database of all the plant species that could be found in Battle Grove for both visitors looking to see what plant they had seen there, and for the grounds people who actually worked at the site as a reference guide. And also, I was supposed to plan ahead to see what the next intern could do after I was gone. So for the next 3 slides, I'm going to show some of the deliverables I worked on and that I gave to my boss. The first is a style guide. This is basically all the aesthetics and how I wanted users to come into the site and move through it. If you see that color palette there, that's what I used for this PowerPoint because I like those colors. Next, I worked on hi-fi wireframes. This is essentially a fancy schmancy way of piecing together a mock-up, a prototype of the website without having to code anything. This is supposed to be the page for each species that will be in the database that you could search up and find, having stuff like benefits and uses, photos of the plants, and links to find out more about them. And lastly, this is what I've spent most of my time on. I haven't actually done much coding because this got in the way. Don't worry that you can't see anything on there, really. You're not supposed to. I've just put this here to illustrate how ridiculous the Google Sheets version of the database is right now. That is 77 plant species with up to 15 benefits and uses for each. Blossom color, duration, form, and habit. Just all the information that could be useful for the people working on the site and all the things that I have to make into search terms as I'm building the database. So moving into a sort of summary of what I actually got done and what's still to come. The takeaways I got from this were just a lot of practice for the stuff I'm going to be doing for my major. One of my majors is information science, so I got a lot of good work in for practicing design with focuses on accessibility and user experience. I got a lot of work done with SQL. That's the language you have to program in to make databases, and stuff that I'm going to be studying next semester. It's a very steep learning curve, but I've had so much fun with it. And I also just got to play around with a lot of dead stuff on the site as I was working. I didn't think I would, but I did, because when you're working out on a site, you just sometimes encounter dead fish that need to be identified, dead squirrels that need to be macerated, and dead snapping turtles that need to be given last rites. Rest in peace, KP. And that little bit that I mentioned before about still to come, well, for the next intern and for me, because I didn't finish the website, but I am committed. Working with Geneva has been so great. Geneva and Crystal as well, her assistant. They've made this such a wonderful, engaging experience that I'm fully dedicated to it. This project is my baby now. I will see it to adulthood. So over the summer and maybe into the fall, hopefully not into the fall, but maybe, I'm going to be working on the HTML and CSS, the coding of the website. I'm going to finish that database code, and I'm going to figure out what write-ups need to be written so that somebody else can come in and find all the species of plants that are not yet identified and put them into that Google Sheets database. Heads up to any future applicants, that's going to be your job. I don't want to do it. You must. So yeah, remember how at the start I mentioned that I got into this whole mess because of BioBlitz? Well, we're having another one, and I'm helping out run it. So this Friday, April the 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., if you scan that little QR code over there, you can get all the details you need. But I love the mission of Battle Grove to just introduce this conservation effort to the public, to the community. And this is one of the best ways to do it, I think. Just getting to play around and look for different species and critters in the stream. So yeah, I hope to see anyone and everyone there.